not happy at all. So it's it's getting back to worse, it seems. And as Gaurav rightly says, percentage-wise, India's done very well. I feel quite proud of
Yeah, no,
whether
no,
it's hurt.
I completely agree. Compared to the population that we have, and I think we've done exceedingly well.
Yeah.
And I agree with what Gaurav says, but I also believe that a lot of it is because of the immunity system that we have developed over a period of time. I mean, okay, a part of it is also that. It's
No, no,
also that we have.
Fair point. Fair
But
point.
see, in hindsight, and of course,
Yeah.
retrospective vision is always 2020.
Yeah.
The lockdown which they did for 3 weeks right in the beginning, and then they gradually, sort of in a calibrated manner reopened things. That helped us get prepared for this. Otherwise, there would have been chaos. We didn't have masks in this country. We didn't have PPE suits. We didn't have COVID wards. Nothing. Okay? No ventilators, or inadequate number of ventilators. No, sort of medicines or drugs to
Correct.
fight.
Yeah. Nothing. And people were fighting by the doctors, didn't know what they were fighting and what
Yes.
what are the medicines.
Nobody knew anything.
Yeah.
So it
You're right.
helped getting things established. That 3-week
No,
delay
but,
allowed us to, sort of get our act together.
Yeah.
Gaurav, but there's something to what John says, because even in the US, we have whole places where we brought the level down massively, and it just takes a few people and it spikes up. I think there's something more going on in India, and I think it's got to do with some of that immunity system. By the way, here's another interesting factoid. In the US, what we are finding is people who have emigrated from India, like who've grown up in India, and come here, they have a lower propensity to get COVID or to get symptoms.
Okay.
And it's quite weird, and not people, you just can't understand it. There's no.
Where did you get that?
Nothing weird about it. We just discussed it.
We have a.
But we discussed the puchkas that we ate helped us get this.
Sajeev, tell me one thing. How is it that the black area of the Bronx, for example, where you have a lot of blacks, and they are supposed to be toughies, they to weather out all kinds of diseases and other stuff, but they were one of the most affected sections in New York. So how do you explain that? I thought they were as tough as the
not
Indians.
only blacks, the blacks, also the Hispanics.
The Hispanics.
But if you take a couple of things that are common in both of those groups.
Yeah.
And it's more to do with the socio-economic than blacks or Hispanics. But if you just take those groups, first of all, they live in very kind of dense conditions. Normally, multi-family kind of households.
Yeah.
They all have jobs that require them to connect with other people.
Yeah.
Like unlike most of the other population that can work from home and things like that.
Yeah.
And the third is, unfortunately, fast food and all these kinds of things, which taste really good over a long period of time, has really diminished the immune system. Because if you look at the amount we spend on healthcare versus the outcomes we get, part of it is due to like the underlying condition of people.
Yeah, is the unhealthy food? Is the unhealthy food?
Yeah.
America is the obesity capital of the world, unfortunately. As a percentage of the population, I think Mexico is number 1 or number 2, pretty close behind. So just the culture and obviously the proliferations of McDonald's all over the place.
Yeah.
The unhealthy any immediate changes on this COVID after Biden has come in?
Abhijit.
Too early, maybe.
Notice the box of churmur behind Vikram's head.
I was eating bhatti with my tea this morning,
But guys, Sanjeev mentioned that a few people can cause a real pandemic. In Australia, my brother was telling me a story, which apparently is true, is why Victoria got cases and New South Wales didn't, and they had to close the border with military guards, which never happened in the history of Australia, is because few women who were quarantined, the 2-week compulsory, decided to, because they were getting stir crazy, they wanted to, put it this way, service the guards in a certain way that the guards went and passed it on to their spouses and to the wider community. It's a fact, by the way.
Drone, you're kind of suspect.
Interesting story.
No, I wonder.
Drone, is that what you're doing in the park?
Sorry?
I said, is that what you're doing in the park?
Exactly.
He's got this facts and story combination that he's been throwing at us all along.
Well, it's, they say if you spread manure around, plants will grow.
Hey, by the way, there's a really hard weather system going across the US. Nanu, I'm expecting that you folks are impacted, right?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The winter storm that is like massively kind of going across that entire area. I suspect it's, Toronto and Maine and all these areas are pretty badly impacted.
Well, the snow hasn't hit us yet, but it has been extremely cold. It was when I woke up yesterday morning, it was -1.
Your beard became white.
It's been -10 for the last 3 days or so. I went out for a walk today. It was about -7. So.
Oh, but you know something? Calcutta is going to be 11 degrees tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chennai is
I think Bangalore should be about 18, 17, 18.
Bangalore.
19.
Chennai is 25, 28.
Bangalore is about 18, 19. Very pleasant weather. Very pleasant weather. But tell me, what is the state of awareness with regard to masks and all things in the US and UK? Are people wearing masks? Are they?
Yeah, very much, very much.
We are pretty much mandated. Los Angeles is now the hub of COVID, whereas it was in New York mostly. Now Los Angeles is the big deal.
Yeah.
And everybody is required to wear masks all over the place.
Okay.
But the vaccination program has been surprisingly quite effective, I think, and people are lining up to get the vaccine, and hopefully we will see some light at the end of the tunnel soon. But the restaurants opened up. You can only have outdoor dining.
That's
again.
right. No, that's happening in India also. In Bangalore, most of the restaurants that have opened up have outdoor dining and safe distancing. I think so. All the tables and chairs are all.
But I think the new administration is really taking it incredibly seriously.
All the state governments have taken it very, very strictly, and now there's a big fine. In fact, if you drive a car and if you're not wearing a mask, they can come and fine you 500 rupees to 1,000 rupees.
In the car.
That. Why would you want to wear a mask? Why would you want?
Yeah, you have to wear a mask while driving. Yes.
The car?
Why?
So why do you wear a mask inside the car?
Not in Chennai. Yeah, not required in Chennai.
No. Hold on. If you're a single guy, it's not required. But if you have a partner in the car, if you have somebody else in the car, you need a mask.
Well, if it's my wife,
yes. I'm very sure of it. If there's
Drone, I hope you have a mask on.
Well, but Vicky, here's the interesting thing is that whilst we're talking about social distancing and keeping safe, one of the byproducts in Japan has been they've gone so far in the restrictions that the divorce rate has gone up.
Oh, wow.
All funny things is coming out here.
No, it is. It's called the new norm of that is divorce, because the old saying was
if you're stuck up in a bloody room or in a house with your wife for bloody 9 months, I would be surprised if the divorce rate goes up unless you have you had your freedom, you had a freedom. So
well, you see, John, it's binary. It's either a baby is born or it's divorce.
Or like Drone, you run off to the park occasionally.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing is flashing is not allowed, and you can take it whichever way you want.
So we've been chatting for about 45 minutes, and Yazdi hasn't said a single word.
But yeah,
I know.
Yes, we are missing. Yeah,
He's there.
yes,
He's
where are
there.
you, buddy?
Masquerading as
before
barista.
Yazdi opens up, where's Chopin?
He's not joining us.
He's not joining.
he's got
Not
some
in
work.
China, I hope.
No.
I think he'll get a anal swab, anal test, that swab will be taken.
He'll get a D for attention, and 6 of the best.
and he'll get taken in by Veticard. and his life is made after that.
Hey, listen, I think Stephen Cook was probably a worse deal. Let us get Stephen Cook on him.
I tell you, yeah.
Hey, Yazdi, how are you doing? How are you doing?
That wasn't Stephen Cook. That was Colin Singh, who's Chopin's best friend.
Oh yes, Colin Singh.
No, it was Vikram who almost became a
He used to
victim.
go onto the divider, is it?
Yeah.
He had a compass or a divider, so he used to.
That is the Cook. That is Michael and Stephen Cook.
Okay.
But the one who reset Chopin's face on account of me. Not to say that his face was any different before, but the one who reset his face was Colin Singh.
But speaking of Betty
how are you doing, man? How's your health doing, Yazdi? Yazdi, your health. How are you doing?
Fine. I'm fine. In spite of fact that I meet 40, 50 people a day.
Oh, 40, 50 people.
Wow.
Wow.
Forget 40, 50 people. The kind of people he meets are people who desperately require help. And probably, yes, he's the only person who can, criminals. He's representing criminal cases. He's defending people, who you wouldn't want to be seen with. I mean, I've heard these stories about Yazdi. I've not really talked about it, but that man is amazing. Yeah. He's a different level altogether.
Hey, Yazdi, can you tell us?
Hey,
can you,
John,
to the
that
extent you can
information
tell us?
Don't really be modest. Don't be modest, Bugger. I've heard enough I've heard from Tinaz. So don't.
I'm saying that information is 7 months old.
Today you tell me what's happening.
Today I appear for the government.
Yazdi, if you can share it,
Sanjeev.
what is the most some of the most bizarre things you had to deal with? Why don't you tell us?
You guys want to sleep tonight?
No, this would be interesting to the extent you can share it. Tell us one of the interesting things you had to do.
Well, like John said, we kept a lot of murderers out or brought them out of jail.
Wow.
In fact, in the first 7 death reference cases, the chaps were convicted and sentenced to be hung. I was assisting my senior, Mr. Roy. In all 7 cases, we got an acquittal.
Wow.
Oh.
It was only in the 8th case. It was only in the 8th case where I got pulled in, only at the stage of arguments, that we managed to get the thing down to life sentence. But
wow. So you buggers, you are talking to a different breed altogether, huh? I mean, he's not in the same class as us.
So you were.
John,
now he has a new job here. Now he's doing different things.
Yeah, but John, when you're working in the High Court, you never get to meet your clients. They're in jail.
Yeah.
It's only their relatives who come with their sad stories.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky
So how do you get the facts out? How do you argue the case? How do you get?
You can't go beyond the record.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You cannot go beyond the record. So that makes your life quite miserable.
God.
Then you have to be innovative.
So you mean to
These
say
guys were
that
actually
people
innocent,
got...
was it?
Sorry?
Were these guys actually innocent?
No, that's difficult to say. He obviously argued that they are.
Yeah. You walk into a room thinking your client is innocent.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And Yazdi, you would be on the defendant side, or it would be
I used to be, so 7 months ago when I was appointed Additional Solicitor General of India, So now I appear for the central government.
Okay.
I see. And what kind of cases would those be?
Well, bulk of them, well, there are, because you've got the narcotics and the CBI that is directly under my control. Although DRI, customs are not. And, but basically just now it's COVID related and taxation.
And taxation.
Yeah, because everyone comes to challenge the GST and the income tax.
There'll be 101 laws. Yeah, the 101 cases. You're right. You're right.
What would be the most, what would be some of the most bizarre cases you had to?
Hey, Bhagat, don't let out trade secrets here.
Sanjeev is back to asking about bizarre cases.
Sanjeev, you broke up. Sanjeev, what did you ask?
Bizarre
said,
cases.
well, can you, go ahead, someone.
No, yeah.
No, I think what Sanjeev was saying was one of the more bizarre cases that you've handled. Yes,
I don't know, when you go through, the first one may seem very interesting and sound, but when you put in 40 years, it's all the same. In fact, there was one crazy case, I tell you. We'd argued before a judge and we were awaiting judgment. One of the judges died. So start the whole process again. We started the process again, and then just before judgment was to be delivered, one judge retired. So it comes up before a third bench. Okay. And again, in the midst of argument, this was surprising that maybe it's something had to do with our appearing on that case. One third judge died. So I went before a fourth bench, and one of them did retire. So when it finally came up in October before a bench, and I told the judge said, look, I will uphold the conviction and I will direct them to release your client immediately. I said, sorry, I want an acquittal. I've spent 19 years in jail. I'm looking for an acquittal.
Yeah.
So he tells me, I'm not going to hear it. So I said, why? It won't take half an hour. He says, see, you know the history of the case? I've got 3 months to retire. You're retiring in January. I don't want to go up country before that.
He doesn't want to rock the boat.
Then, after the vacation in the month of December, it came up. Mamata Banerjee had called 3 strikes, one on a Friday, one again on Friday, and then on a Monday. So I had the court's attention for those 3 days uninterrupted.
Yeah.
And the man did come out. He was accused of having committed 2 murders, but got him off. He had a very good case.
Wow.
That's amazing.
But did he actually do it? Did he do it?
Huh?
Yeah, but yes, do you ever feel guilty?
Vikram, this is one case where with your eyes shut, anyone would have this thing. He's supposed to have killed a man in a marketplace at 5 o'clock in the evening. And at 5:03, 12 kilometers away, he's supposed to have killed that man's son. Impossible.
Oh my God.
It's not possible. Yeah, it's not humanly possible. Yeah.
You can only kill one man at a time.
So
the man was 60 years old. The dispute was over 2 azans or 1 azan.
His accomplice may have done it, yeah?
Huh?
His accomplice may have done it.
Would have.
Okay, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here.
But
yes, have you ever felt guilty? Have you ever felt guilty about having somebody acquitted?
Why is Yezi in the dock right now? I can't understand.
Sorry. No, it's been very interesting, you know.
Knowing Yezi, he's never felt guilty about anything.
No, on a lighter vein.
If I survived 3 years with you guys, how can I feel guilty about anything?
but
criminals like us, is it?
Yezdi, the rumor is you only felt guilty about the women you ditched.
There weren't many of those.
That means there were some.
Hey, yes, your wife must be around, I'm sure.
She was. You didn't see her in the picture. She was behind him with the dog.
No wonder.
Yeah, but was listening carefully.
Listen, Yezdi, at least she knows she married a stud, right?
I don't know about that.
Drone is,
No,
drone is,
but
did you notice drone was on mute? Drone was on
here's
mute, you know?
Yeah. But yesterday you talk about, somebody asked the question about any bizarre stories in legal cases. Two that you may have heard of that I did when I was in New York a few years ago, from a lawyer from a firm called Cravat, Swain and Moore. And he said it only happens in America. You know, in New York, the two cases he talked about is one Jewish lady claimed she was black because every time she looked in the mirror, she was black, and so she asked for a job as a minority. And she actually sued
I think
the
you're
state.
talking about Warren, Elizabeth Warren.
She actually sued apparently the state of New York. And the second one was a guy who sued the hospital for being born in the first place because an abortion went wrong when his mother thought it had happened successfully, but he was born.
Hey, Jesse, but you haven't argued many cases like this, man.
You know, John, the trouble is that in India, you don't have a well-developed
the cases, the legal cases. Yeah. You're right.
That's something that you'll have in America and Europe and in England, but not in India.
That story is like a black beauty queen stood in front of a mirror, and magic mirror, and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" and the mirror turned back and said, "Snow White, you big black bitch, and don't you forget it." It's exactly like what you said.
Good Lord.
How inappropriate.
Well,
no, but all said and done, the US system, the legal system, is not as weird as is made out to be. Because in most cases, you'll see that the cases which get written up or are written up in the press and things like that, these are few and far between. The majority of the cases are just like whatever happens elsewhere in the world as well.
Mostly.
Whatever happens is what, Gaurav?
But the legal system by and large, the world over, is the same. You may have, in the sense that when we talk that somebody sued somebody and got $100 million and this, that, or whatever, because they found a cockroach in their in the PepsiCo can or whatever. Okay, those things don't really happen in the US, because while somebody may get that kind of judgment initially, when it goes into appeal, it gets turned down and watered down several times.
A lot of money changes hands, Gaurav.
I think it all comes down
big companies are involved. When big companies are involved, and when it's a question of their brand name getting affected, in the first stage they can then file a case, but then there is some kind of understanding between the person who filed the case and the company, and more often than not, it gets settled in some way or the other. So it doesn't get to a high court.
John, I have sort of been involved in litigation in the US quite extensively, and I've learned quite a bit.
Yeah.
One thing is very certain. I had when I had a case, I asked my friends around. So I was told in no uncertain terms that, look, you need a white lawyer, he should be Jewish, and he should have his office on 40th Street, in New York. Okay? Yeah. And don't go to a large firm, because the big guys will bill you, not do any work. Some flunky, some junior guy will do the work, and they'll mess up your case because you are from India, you're too far away. So they'll sort of cheat you, and at the same time not do a proper job. So you go to a specialized lawyer. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I ended up with one lawyer who was very good. Okay, and he took the case because he would only take up cases where he found them to be intellectually stimulating. And I learned a lot of law from him. Okay, and he said one thing about the US legal system. He said that the US legal system is designed for settlement. Okay, okay, things get settled. And the best settlement is one when neither side is happy.
Both sides are happy.
Both
unhappy.
sides are unhappy.
Unhappy.
Either side is happy.
Both sides are unhappy. Okay, all right.
Happy.
Yeah, that is the best outcome.
Well, Gaurav,
so, but somebody like Sanjeev probably deals with this all the time on the corporate level. They retain large firms, right, Sanjeev? you guys retain large firms, and because they face ongoing litigation from a variety of sources.
Look, here's the thing that happens with us. I mean, in general, in corporate America, there's a whole bunch of lawyers, and all they do is look for the, what we claim versus what actually happened. So that's all. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of people just looking for, okay, look at the advertisement, and can they actually do that all the time, or are they holes?
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
And if there's a hole, even if there's no plaintiff or there's no defendant, they will find someone, and then they'll try to do a class action suit. But all of that, all of it is geared to what Gaurav said, all to settlement. It never gets to court. But Gaurav, I was going to say that one other interesting thing is, because we all called for jury duty.
Okay.
And so I've had a chance to go and be a juror in a few cases. Now, in many cases, you try to get out of it, kind of a thing, but I just feel it's an important civic duty. It is interesting to see the insides and how the whole thing works when you're on the jury and people are kind of arguing out a case. It is just fascinating. But I will also tell you that if you've seen that movie 12 Angry Men, in every one of our jury cases, you can influence the outcome of that just by one or two people who are convincing on the jury.
Okay. So are you saying in a jury there are usually one or two dominant people who form the opinion for the rest of the crowd? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Generally, in the ones that I've been in, there have been a couple of people. They start with, if a person is suing, they are on the side of the person suing.
Okay.
Because they feel that the company is always bad and the person suing is always good.
Good. Yeah.
But then if you use logic, and it's almost like if those one or two people who try to bring it back to the center are not there, it just ends up in a bad place.
Okay.
Anyway, Drone has joined us now. He's back from the park.
Cases are jury based. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So some years ago, I was on a jury duty for three cases, and they were all related to child molestation. And one of them was a stepfather who raped his, at that time, 7 or 8 year old stepdaughter. Long story, without boring you with all the details, it was the daughter at that, during the trial, was 34 years old, had her own child afterwards, was living in, had got her own life restored, was married to a good guy. She had gone on to study criminal law and had a master's degree in criminology. And she came back to the court and confronted her stepfather. And it was, I still get goosebumps from sitting in the jury box. I was a juror, watching that trial. It was unbelievably moving. The other two cases, so over here, when you go for jury trial, you're assigned up to a week. And sometimes you get called, sometimes you don't get called, but you have to be available. And then they show whatever cases come up. The other two cases were, okay, I mean, they were still involved with child molestation, but they were not as really heart-wrenching as this one. When we found the stepfather guilty of many charges, the judge, probably the same thing in Sanjeev's case and other cases, the judge comes and thanks the jury, thank you for doing your civic duty, and et cetera, et cetera. And of course, the first thing we ask is, so what is going to happen with the sentencing? And the judge says, now I have to tell you what might happen. The sentencing is going to come up 2 weeks from now. However, the defendants have filed some technicality that the district attorney had screwed something up in the, I don't know exactly what it was. And so let's wait and see. 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, in the local newspaper, we heard that the guy was acquitted because of that particular technicality.
Oh my God.
He was found not guilty. And as a result of that, he can't be retried.
Oh my God.
About 3 weeks later, so I'm the only non-white person in the jury box. Where I live, there are very, very few minorities here. Whether, Asian, Indian, African American, doesn't matter. Very few. It's like this area, this part of the country is 95% white.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, I was in the grocery store, and the guy, the stepfather, with his wife, who was the mother of this child and did not support her own daughter when she was being raped, not once, but over a period of 2 years. Anyway, he saw me and just looked me dead in the eye and sort of nodded his head and smiled and walked off.
My God.
Whoa.
That's like a movie, Nanu.
Yeah, it's like crazy, yeah.
Very, very, it was a very strange feeling.
Yeah. No, but these experiences are unique in life. Huh? These you don't come across these things very often.
Yeah.
But it leaves a mark in your life. It really leaves a mark in terms of something you'd remember.
Yeah.
And
Nanu watched the original Cape Fear film.
Man, you're back.
He's been back a while.
Happy.
He's been back a while, actually.
He looks very happy.
He's got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Like the cat who licked the cream.
Yeah. It's more. He's a spent man.
It's more because some of my friends on the call here today on Zoom are losing their hair like mine. So I'm saying join the club.
Well, I think that's past tense. Drone lost their hair, not losing.
Well, look at Chopin, look at Nanu.
Chopin
and
John Matai.
And John
Matai. John Matai has a wig.
God damn.
I still have most of my hair. It's just
no. I have my hair, but okay, I've dyed it. It's as simple as that.
It looks the old. Yeah, I use the old pun where I say I never made the grade. GREYED.
So what are you doing in Abu Dhabi anyway, Drone? What are you doing there? What do you do there?
So I'm a banker. The same bank I work for, which is called FAB. So I worked with them so I left PwC about 10 years ago, joined.
Oh, you're PwC.
I was.
I work with them in India. I work with the audit team in India for my plantations.
Oh, there you go. A small world.
Yeah.
So I joined them about 10 years ago in Abu Dhabi. They sent me to London or posted me there for 4 years. And then they asked me to come back to work on a group strategy role. So as they say in Hindi, chalti ka naam gaadi.
Okay, good.
Okay. Now that you're a banker, Drone, what is a good investment where we can make a return of over 15% in India?
GameStop.
Sorry.
I suggest.
Don't buy tea.
Now you're caught. I'm really banker. You got to earn the name, buddy.
Yeah, no, I suggest go to Kulu Manali, buy small real estate, and grow charas ganja. And if you can't make money, at least consume the product.
That way you
can't say that after Ramdas, yeah. Remedies have been teaching us about moral values and
well, listen, you want to know moral values? You know what we used to call Vetikad? We used to call him a Volkswagen car because he had the engine in the rear.
I remember Vetikad used to come. Vetikad used to wear his cassock with nothing on underneath, You could see him. You could see him.
Trust you to note that.
And his cassock had a tent. Permanent tent.
Unless the tent is going sideways.
he used to go to small school and, with a tent sticking out, the son of a bitch.
Something else.
Which bank do you work with?
What? What was that, Gaurav?
I didn't say.
Go ahead. I was just asking Dhruv, which bank?
But Gaurav, did you ever suspect Vedicard of being, biased towards, homosexuality? I never had any inkling of
that. No. Towards the end of towards SCA, there were definitely rumors going around.
No. I had no inkling whatsoever. I remember we left school and within 6 months of our leaving
we heard that rumor. Correct. We heard that news.
Hey, there was one Arun Kumar Seal. I know he was in our class or some other class. He dropped from the 3rd floor a lot of small bit papers saying that he's a homo. When we were in class, SCA or something, he did it. We came to know. We were ground playing and suddenly papers were falling on over us saying that he's a homo. Yeah, this happened to us in, there's one guy called Arun Kumar Seal. I know that you remember that guy, Arun Kumar Seal.
How come a lot of us haven't heard of it? Because this came as a shock,
When we were in SCA,
No. I remember, I even remember Dastur telling me that he's a homo. Even when we were in school.
Must have told you after you went to Cuba,
When was he removed actually?
Let me tell you about Yazdi.
Yazdi, where are you, buddy? Defend yourself.
No. You must listen to this about Yazdi. When I was in class 5, or we were in class 5, or maybe 4, Yazdi one day came to me and told me, in small school, he said, Baga, you know how you were born? I had no idea. He said, your mother and your father, they did it. Your mother and father did it.
Hey, Nanu, I thought we had the conversation in class 6, class 6 or 7.
Nanu, this had to be 6. I wasn't in school in 5.
Oh, maybe it was class 6.
I remember this conversation, Nanu.
But I had no idea.
6th or 7th. It happened in 6th or 7th. Then this guy, Yazdi, and that guy, Vasu, they were the guys who was explaining to us. Yazdi and Vasu. I remember that conversation. That Vasu was the main guy. He was giving a big explanation.
Vasu.
Yeah,
I came back.
Chennai Vasu.
Yeah, Chennai Vasu. Yazdi and Vasu explained to us. This happened in 6th or 7th.
This is Swami Vivekananda Vasu, na?
I remember this conversation very well. None of us believed it.
But John, if all our certificates, school leaving certificates, were signed by Boucher, not by Vedicard. Because Vedicard had gone between the time we finished our exams and this.
And the certification, you're right.
I think it was Mello who signed it. Yeah.
No.
You're right.
Boucher.
My conduct certificate. They had something called a conduct certificate.
Yeah.
My conduct certificate was signed by Father Cordero.
Correct. Cordero, Boucher. Not
Cordero hadn't come to school in 72, yeah.
I have the certificate. I checked it out the last time.
Even I don't recall a Cordero.
But the school leaving certificate was signed by Boucher.
Boucher, yeah.
But so at that point of time, it was known that that Vedicard was.
He was shifted like overnight. I mean.
Oh shit! What happened to him? He died, no?
He died. He died. Yeah.
Where was he?
Some village. He was shunted off to some village and.
In Kerala must be one of those places.
No, I think.
No, he went to South India somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Kerala is in South India, yeah.
Vic has been in the US for too long now.
There's North India and there's South India. Everything. There's no Kerala. Anyway. No, but I heard he went to a different school.
South India is not India.
No, but he was, overnight he was just removed.
Yeah,
but wasn't he shifted to some other school? That's what I heard he went.
No, some village or something.
Really?
No, village, straight village.
Yeah.
That guy was something else.
Yeah, anyways, this is one of those things that it is very unfortunate. But anyway, what does one do?
But listen, this is obviously.
But he got caught. You see, the thing is, he got caught. That's
he got caught.
If he hadn't got caught, he would have got away with it.
Correct, but this is going on throughout the world. I mean,
yes, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. In fact, I was just going to say that. Yeah. Now, even among so many communities, now you hear of cases like this, and slowly but steadily, it is even getting accepted.
No.
Accepted? Not accepted.
I mean, probably not the religious thing, but same gender sex is
okay, but not with kids, not with minor kids. Not with minor kids.
No, I agree. I agree. I'm just saying, I'm talking about homosexuality. I'm not talking about with kids. I'm talking about acceptance of same gender sex. I mean, same gender.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes.
Hey, Nanu, coming back to the story that you came out with about your jury trial. In India, 35% of all children that are molested are by members of their family.
Correct. You're right. Absolutely right.
That's true all over the world. Right. That is true all over the world. I mean, majority actually. I would, I'm a board certified pediatrician. When I used to see kids, you used to come across this all the time. The vast majority of kids are molested by members of their family or somebody who they know,
Close.
like a neighbor and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's pretty common.
There was a very interesting case, I believe, in Mumbai, and I think Pradeep would be, I don't know whether he's on the call, where this judge had passed, the lady judge had passed a judgment saying that the small child had a clothes on, and the senior person had rubbed his hands over, the vital parts of the body, not on the naked skin, but over the cloth, as a result of which it does not tantamount to sexual, abuse.
What
nonsense? The guy got acquitted.
Yeah, it happened recently.
But John, it's very funny. She's made a similar strange judgment in another case, and now what has happened is she's not being promoted to.
Yeah,
because it was a very unusual judgment that she passed, and it was a lady judge, by the way.
Yeah, I said lady judge is it's crazy, yeah.
Okay, guys. See you guys. I'll see you guys later. See you.
Hey, I'm going to run as well.
Time for changing nappies, huh?
Okay, all the best.
Go enjoy
It's getting stinky around him.
Hey,
you guys.
Listen, before you go, when do you think we can all meet, yeah? In CAD at some point of time? I mean, when do you think?
Which year are we planning?
When are we close to the 20th, to the 50th year, yeah?
When is
December, January. 1 year from now.
Are we talking about end of 21?
Yeah. 22, 22.
No. End of 22.
Oh,
50 years is next year.
No, we have to start the 50th year. No, we have to start the 50th year.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no point speaking like this. One might as well pretty, all.
No, there's plenty of points speaking like this. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that is true, actually. This is
really crap here.
But good fun, yeah.
Yeah, but so Sanjeev, two quick.
Raja?
Yes, Sanjeev, two quick points, if I may. One is I missed you out in making the grade. In fact, you still got jet black, full head of hair.
I just told you, I'm not grayed yet. It's until such point of time that I dye my hair white. I can't help it, buddy.
There you go. And the second one, Sanjeev, apart from your good looks, to answer your question, I work for First Abu Dhabi Bank, FAB.
Got it.
Sorry?
First Abu Dhabi Bank in where?
I'm based in Abu Dhabi now. I moved from London 4 months ago.
I see. Okay, so that's why I was getting confused.
So I was there. Cool. I was with them for 4 years in London. But most of my banking was with the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, CBA in Sydney.
Got it. And what do you do with them?
I've got a global strategy role, redefining post-COVID international, if you like, expansion, mainly India, China, Korea, Indonesia. We already have Washington and obviously UK operations, but the east winds are blowing strong post-COVID, they say, or will, and that's why the positioning exercise is becoming critical.
Okay.
And I'm also cool. It's a commercial, mostly commercial, not consumer.
Yeah, exactly right. Corporate, commercial, global markets, financial markets, that sort of stuff. Commodities and equities.
Do you think China will be affected by this COVID situation? You know, just globally in trade and stuff like that, or it's going to make no difference?
Very, very positive for them. They've had a V-shaped recovery. Everybody else is having not only forget W-shaped or any other shape. It's going to be U-shaped, and it's going to take a while before things really get better. I mean, Sanjeev's the expert on the US markets, but Europe is suffering.
When do you think we'll come to pre-COVID, GDP or state of economy?
See, the World Bank, or is it one of the multinational organizations has just upped their forecast for global economic recovery this year to 3.1% or something like that. Yeah. And they're very bullish, but to some extent that's very premature in my view. I think
they are talking about negative growth for 2021. They're talking about negative growth. It's going to. It's not. I mean, it's not going to go up. It's going to go down vis-a-vis.
Well, China is one country that it will actually go up, and that's because I have a feeling they had worked out the vaccine, everything else way beyond perhaps even the virus started. I mean, that would be.
Now you're insinuating. They costed, huh?
Yeah. Well, we don't want to go into conspiracy theory, but you never know.
Conspiracy theory.
I just say one thing, and then I've got to run. But China is going to get the governor for China is going to be the demand from the rest of the world. So, I mean, it has an automatic governor. For the US, we're going to see a big rebound, but the bigger issue is not the rebound in GDP. I think it is going to be inflation that comes way pretty soon after, because the GDP growth is being fueled by printing of money.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if GDP growth is equal to the extra money that is printed, actually there is no particular growth that has happened.
Okay, absolutely.
And I think we are entering a crazy, like it's like the Twilight Zone, where it is going to be really hard for central banks to retire all the money that has been printed, which is going to mean that there's going to be a wealth transfer from the haves to the have-nots. And so this you can look forward to taxes going up, inflation going up. Real assets are going to really make sense. So I love drones. Go and buy some land and grow some plants. Exactly. But anyway, it's challenges that we're going to find. But anyone who's keeping cash right now is going to be in deep trouble because of inflation.
Inflation. Mm-hmm.
No, but you know Sanjeev, the tough one in India is you don't know where to invest anymore.
Yeah.
Because your interest rates are going down, your mutual funds are going down, a lot of your government schemes, saving schemes, the interest rates are coming down again. Real estate has come down because the amount of money that is in circulation, people don't have jobs. So everything is going down. So one really doesn't know how to tide over the situation. It becomes quite crazy to manage at this point in time.
But John, when you come to investing, and then, investing means you're going to have ups and downs.
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't react to the ups and you shouldn't react to the downs.
I know, I understand.
The important thing though is the trends. So in other words, long-term real estate is going to be a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, clearly value investing is going to come back. I mean, it's just a distribution versus a, I don't think one should get scared too much with how much is down and up, because it will come up.
You're right. You're right. No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Hey, John.
Anyway, hey, folks.
John, one
Yeah, Gaurav,
suggestion.
you were saying something? Sorry. Yeah.
No, what I was saying, John, go ahead, Nanu.
I was saying,
Hi,
John,
Sanjeev, all the best.
if you're looking to invest, give a suitcase of cash to Gaurav. He'll double it in a year for you.
No, rubbish. No.
Right now, the only thing that's happening is Vikram and Gaurav on my screen. I can see all of you. Vikram and Gaurav have been stuffing their faces from the time we started till now. Okay. That's
Hey,
all they're
Gaurav.
investing, making deposits.
I'm investing in myself.
Gaurav,
I'm investing in myself.
John is good for 2 plots.
No, I
Bye, Nanu.
I
Bye,
had a
Nanu,
small
bye.
drink in the middle. Yeah, but that's not enough burger. I've not had my dinner yet.
No. This is the
Yeah,
best
Gaurav, you were
time.
saying?
You see, I'm always a believer that you should be contrarian. Okay.
Yes.
So when prices are going up, you should be selling. Okay. Everybody tends to buy when prices are going up. So when prices are high, sell. Get out. Okay.
No,
but
it's
then,
the timing.
but then
Gaurav,
that
it's
is
the timing.
contrary. Gaurav.
It's a timing that matters.
Yeah,
See,
timing.
But Gaurav, that's contrary to what Sanjeev just said, because real estate in the US is going through the roof. Okay. Right
it's
now.
okay, it's going, in India, it's going down.
No.
Yeah.
I have a different take on real estate, which is basically tailored to real estate in India.
Scenario, yeah.
You know, I have the firm belief that you should only have that much real estate which you will enjoy and occupy. Okay. In India, it's too risky. If you buy something to let it out, okay, A, you won't find a tenant. And if you do find a tenant, he won't pay you the rent. And then you can do nothing and you're stuck. Okay. B, when you want to buy real estate, it's expensive. And the day you want to sell it,
it's cheap.
It's cheap. Okay.
Right.
So it's too bloody risky. Second thing is people buy a second home and this and that sort of stuff. You can never be in two homes together. Okay.
Agreed. 100%.
So there's no point in having a second home, you know. And some people have holiday homes and this and that sort of stuff. I said you buy one and you get stuck to it, you know. You can't go anywhere else. So it's better to go.
Gaurav, what is becoming increasingly, popular in India now, in fact, in places in South India, is these old age retirement homes where they have this community which has all the facilities that.
Ramki has some experience of that, right?
Yeah, I have one. I own one.
He has one.
Yeah, so that's supposed to be fantastic because. After a certain age when the kids are not around and
Yeah, sure. You want to live there, by all means, you hold it.
No, I'm asking your take on things because you.
No. I say something.
You will not be able to manage a 3-story, building.
No, agreed. But at that point, you'll sell your 3-storied building.
And then buy one.
And you'll put the money into, say a safe, sort of a safe investment, and you'll go and live in this house. Okay, right. So you can only live one house at a time. Okay?
Absolutely. No, I agree. I agree.
And okay, you got this house for your retirement. You planned it out. You like the area. You like this. You like that, and therefore, okay, because real estate is never manufactured in a factory. You know, that's another thing. You know, if you want to buy a property for yourself or whatever. The day you like something, that you see, you should buy it. And then you shouldn't be worried too much about the price. As long as the price is okay, just pay it and take it. Because the next time around, you won't get what you want. Okay.
See, you were talking about staying power. One of the reasons that I talked about it is because, all of us are at an age where we are saying, Gaurav, fortunately, you have your own business. But there are a lot of retired people in this group. And they are dependent upon savings and whatever they have done over a period of time, blah, blah, blah. So today, if you are looking at a steady monthly income coming in, whereby you meet your expenses and you've maintained a certain standard in life, and when you find that the same amount that you've invested is not giving you the same return, then there's a bit of an issue. And
absolutely, there is an issue, no question about it. Because the returns on your deposits and so on and so forth are coming down.
Yeah.
But In India, even then, you can get 4-5%.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
You go to
Which
the
is better
US,
than
you
the rest
get
of the world.
-1.
Yeah, but that all depends on inflation, Gaurav.
Yeah.
That all depends. In India,
No.
you have like 10-12% inflation.
No, you don't. Okay.
It's about
Maybe not 10,
it's about 8 to 9% from what I
Okay,
what I read on the
so then what John is saying is that he's actually losing 50% on his money. You know, I mean, instead of when you invest, if you get 5% and if inflation is 10%,
Therefore,
then you're really negative.
Therefore, Vikram, you have to design your investments in such a way that you get more than the inflation rate on an average. Okay, so you will also have to take on some risk, so-called more risky investments like stock market investments and things like that.
Correct.
Okay, and then you may have property where you get a rental return also, which in the event of inflation, if you've got a good location or whatever, the rents can go up. But the problem in India is we've been used to 10%, 11% returns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And today the interest rates have come down, which basically
5 to 6%, to about 5 to 6%.
That has also resulted in the stock market going up. Okay. Yeah. One of the reasons that the stock market is where it is today is because people don't see returns in, let's say, fixed return instruments, and therefore they put their money into the stock market, which has its own risk. So anyway,
okay, Ramki is leaving. Say bye to him. Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Bye, Ramki. Take care, buddy.
He's gone.
Gone.
It has been very interesting, and I think today we covered a whole series of topics. But I think one of the things I just want to ask this group is, should I take the shot when I get it, the COVID shot?
Absolutely.
My doctors have advised me yes.
I thought you were talking about a Veticat shot.
We've graduated through all that. Yeah, that's time pass.
Johnny has had that already. He was a pretty
I was about to say that
it's all time pass. Yeah.
I was about to say that after the last couple of weeks, I've been told no more shots.
Coming to his vaccine, what is the other thing? Should we take it when it's available?
Yeah. That's exactly
the first available opportunity.
Yes.
Take it.
The answer is yes.
Yes. No, but what are you saying? The reactions actually of people who are taking it?
The reaction is that if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger.
and we Indians always emerge stronger.
Yeah, we do.
Ajay, is there a dartboard behind you? What is it that you have behind you, Vic?
Where?
Behind me?
Your right side behind?
Oh,
that's the almanac of the world or something like that.
No. It's just a Egyptian artifact that we picked up in Egypt.
Okay.
It's a painting.
Can you get into that and see some Egyptian chicks? No. No.
You know, my parents used to be in Egypt, right? So I used to live over there, go there. Anyway.
Okay. Wonderful.
Okay.
Rajagopalan.
Basically, the side effects are there. It's basically soreness of the arms. It can give you mild fevers and mild chills and stuff like that. But I have not known anybody to die from it or have any permanent side effects.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
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 Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye, Gaurav. Bye, Raja. Bye, Leslie.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks a
28th
lot.
of Feb.
All of you.
28th of February is our next
Bye,
meeting.
Dhruv.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, buddy.
See you.
Bye.
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 Bye.